Zen, the Sanskrit word for meditation, is a discipline. The purpose is to clear the mind of the chaos of everyday life in order to achieve a greater state of harmony. Zen-inspired gardens took root in Japan, where Zen Buddhism has heavily influenced Japanese culture for centuries. In Japan, the physical makeup of the country, mountains, and sea is reflected in garden design. Hello everybody. Hello everybody. I hope you are having a good morning, afternoon, or night. Today I want to share a book of meditations with you. This book is by Zen Garden. CenGarden. Okay, so the first page is our introduction, of course. So, Zen, the Sanskrit word for meditation, is a discipline. The purpose is to clear the mind of the chaos of everyday life in order to achieve a greater state of harmony. Zen-inspired gardens took root in Japan, where Zen Buddhism has heavily influenced Japanese culture for centuries. In Japan, the physical makeup of the country, mountains, and sea is reflected in garden design. Through the use of rocks and plants, the gardens are symbolic, scaled-down representations of nature. In a garden, a meditative mental plane is reached by viewing this physical plane. A Zen garden is for contemplations, for finding the truth and personal enlightenment. It transcends space and time. The purpose of cultivating a Zen rock garden is to learn to open your mind and see more than what it is before you. Okay, so let's read this one called Meditative Reflections. When someone inquires about Zen, begin by explaining that there's really no doctrine at all. Everything is based on the mind, is led by the mind, is fashioned by the mind. If you speak and act with a polluted mind, suffering will follow you. As the wheels of the ox cart follow the footsteps of the ox, if you speak and act with a pure mind, happiness will follow you as a shadow clings to a form. Before a person studies Zen, mountains are mountains and water are waters. After a first glimpse into the truth of Zen, mountains are no longer mountains, and waters are no waters. After enlightenment, mountains are once again mountains, waters are once again waters. Different quotes here, and this quote says, "Sometimes I go about in pity for myself, and all the while a great wind is bearing me across the sky." sitting, just sit. Above all, don't wobble. When the day gets long and contentious, I hold fast to my breath as a tiller and take each wave as it comes. Zen has nothing to grab onto. When people who study Zen don't see it, that is because they approach too eagerly. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the men of old. Seek what they sought. Zen is your everyday thought. If my heart can become pure and simple, like that of a child, I think there probably can be no greater happiness than this. That is sweet. That makes me reflect on the simplicity of being a child, and my biggest concerns were what game am I gonna play, or what friend am I gonna have a sleepover with, or like, problems were not problems. Life was simple. My only concern was, how can I have fun? How can I see my friends? And I think we enter adulthood and we don't have time to have those thoughts, because adulthood is stressful, and when you're thinking about bills or your job or maybe your friends or your partner, your family, there's no room to think about things that bring you joy when you're constantly stressed out. So, that was a really good quote. When moved to complain about others, remember that karma is endless, and it's loving that leads to love. Every day is a good day. I love that. I believe in karma, so loving leads to love. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. The way is not a matter of knowing or not knowing. One word to a wise man, one lash to a bright horse. How can the drops of water know themselves to be a river? How can the drops of water know themselves to be a river? The bird of paradise alights only on the hand that does not grasp. The bird of paradise alights only on the hand that does not grasp. Have the heart of a small child. Whenever I feel nothing matters, I look at sleeping children and recall my original purpose. When things are in total disarray, play with the joyful children. I don't think that's great advice, because unless you have actual children yourself, don't think you can do that. Or younger siblings, if you have them, I guess you could also spend time with them. The eye that that sees cannot see itself. The eye that sees cannot see itself. He who conquers himself is mighty. He who conquers himself is mighty. The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. I love this because growing up, I was constantly asked why I don't talk as much or why I don't get too involved in conversations. And personally, I love to listen. I love to listen to other people's thoughts. So I love to be a listener. To forget oneself is to be enlightened. To forget oneself is to be enlightened. To find your way, you must close your eyes and walk in the dark. To find your way, you must close your eyes and walk in the dark. Knowing others is wisdom. Knowing yourself is enlightenment. Knowing others is wisdom. Knowing yourself is enlightenment. The foolish reject what they see. The wise reject what they think. The foolish reject what they see. The wise reject what they think. The man who knows he is a fool is not such a great fool. The man who knows he is a fool is not such a great fool. A step backward gives you the advantage. A step backward gives you the advantage. The way is an empty vessel that is never filled. The way is an empty vessel that is never filled. The way is not difficult to discern. Seek it within. The way is not difficult to discern. Seek it within. The great path has no gates, thousands of roads to enter. The great path has no gates, thousands of roads to enter. When I wake in the morning, I listen to those I love, especially to things they don't say. When I wake in the morning, I listen to those I love, especially to things they don't say. When people show anger and malice, listen for truth in the message, ignoring the way it was said. When people show anger and malice, listen for truth in the message, ignoring the way it was said. When wayward thoughts are persistent, imagine that even Buddha has silly ideas sometimes. When wayward thoughts are persistent, imagine that even Buddha has silly ideas sometimes. When anger threatens reason, wait while the storm runs its course before venturing forth. When anger threatens reason, wait while the storm runs its course before venturing forth. On the shore of the ocean at sunrise, be in awe of this enormous power that rises and falls in great peace. On the shore of the ocean at sunrise, be in awe of this enormous power that rises and falls in great peace. spring comes and the grass grows by itself. A heavy snowfall disappears into the sea. What silence! Knock on the sky and listen to the sound. A heavy snowfall disappears into the sea. What silence! Knock on the sky and listen to the sound. A monk asked Yu Shin, what does one think of while sitting? One thinks of not thinking, the master replied. How does one think of not thinking? The monk asked without thinking. The master said. A monk asked Yu Shin, what does one think of while sitting? One thinks of not thinking. The master replied. How does one think of not thinking? The monk said. Without thinking, the master said. A painting of a rice cake does not satisfy hunger. Everything the same, everything distinct. When the many are reduced to one, to what is the one reduced? When the many are reduced to one, to what is the one reduced? As the roof was leaking, a Zen master told two monks to bring something to catch the water. One brought a tub, the other a basket. The first was severely reprimanded, the second highly praised. As the roof was leaking, a Zen master told two monks to bring something to catch the water. One brought a tub, the other a basket. The first was severely reprimanded, the second was highly praised. I don't get it. Alright, everybody, I hope you enjoyed these quotes from the Book of Zen. I love reading stuff like that. I'm very much into meditation and mindfulness. I feel like personally it's been really helpful for me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see more from us, you can find us on Patreon. And I will see you next time. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye.
I hope you take a moment to join me on PsycheTruth.patreons.com, where you will find dozens of exclusive videos that we have either had to remove from YouTube or that will never be posted on YouTube. And of course, there's plenty of bloopers and behind the scenes as well, so you can see everything that goes into our video creation process. If you like this video,